reigning, most loving, mere folly, then hey, ho, the holly. Life is most jolly.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, our first round for the month of March. I am here with John, Bill, Brannon, and Henry to perform randomly selected monologues and scenes from Shakespeare for our audience today, and as always, and every Saturday. So randomly chosen by the wheel, and our first player is going to be Henry. Henry's going to perform first, and then Brannon is on deck. She will perform it. Let's get the wheel up to see what's going to be. Wheel of Fate's going to decide what they're going to do. So okay, so first Henry is going to perform. Spin the wheel to find out. And Maggie just joined us, so that's what we got for it. Henry's first one. Belarius, how hard it is. This is Cymbeline, Act 3, Scene 3, the very end of the scene after the two sons leave. Begins with how hard it is.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear fine.
Okay. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature. These boys know little they are sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly in the cave wherein they bow, their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Polydore, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius, Jove, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story. Say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on's neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek. He sweats, strains his young nerves, and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother Cadwal, once Avaragus, in as like a figure, strikes life into my speech, and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is roused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession, as thou reftest me of my lands. Euryphile, thou wast thy nurse. They took thee for their mother, and every day do honour to her grave. Myself, Belarius, am that Morgan called. They take for natural father. The game is up.
Okay, great. Thanks, Henry. So next up is Brannon, and then Bill is on deck. Bill will go after Brannon does.
Okay. Oh my God, okay.
Hamlet, rogue and peasant slave.
Okay. All right.
The very end of probably possibly the longest scene in Shakespeare, Act 2, Scene 2.
Right.
It's the very so as long as you can just go to the very, very end, you'll find it there. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm scrolling. I found it. Okay. No. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player is here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage waned? Tears in his eyes, distraction in aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his concern. And all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech. Make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddled rascal, peak like John of Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No. Not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a dam's defeat was made. Am I a coward who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat, as deep as to the lungs? What does me thus? Oh, swoons. I should take it for it cannot be. But I am pigeon-livered and let go. To make oppression bitter, or ere this I have fattened all the region kites with this slave's offal, bloody body, villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what am I? An ass am I? That this most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and earth and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing like a very dark scullion. Fie upon fish! About my brain, I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play here by the very cunning of the sea been stuck onto the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefaction for murder. I would have no tongue will speak with more miraculous organ. Oh, I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tint him to the quick. If he but belch, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power, and to assume a pleasing shape, yes, and perhaps out of my weakened and my melancholy. And he is very potent in such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. Scene.
Okay, great. That one. It's been a long time since anyone in the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge has spun that one, so we haven't seen that in a while. And just really, Hamlet's such a fascinating character, and so many different works have been written and analyzing certain things. Just reminded me that one, the line from that one that Brandon just did, the "Why what an ass am I?" That was analyzed. It is one of my favorite. The Nori Epstein's book. Literary analysis on the chapter on Hamlet. Love where they're talking about a big debate we often have is his antic disposition, was that feigned or was he really insane? And scholars debate that. And it was this book I thought it was a quote by Orson Welles that I thought was interesting, where they analyzed it, said, well, if you say he really is insane, you got to go with the line, "Why what an ass am I?" He says, "Why what an ass am I? That is a decidedly sane statement." Thought that was an interesting commentary by Orson Welles on the subject. Anyway, great job with that one. It is now Bill's turn, and Maggie is on deck. It looks like she's been having some technical difficulties on her end. I hope she is still able to join us. She always adds a lot to the game. That's fun to have her. So I hope she can join us after Bill does his monologue, which is going to be Ladies and gentlemen, your grace shall pardon me. This is King John Act 5, Scene 2.
Does that begin the speech?
I believe that's how it begins. Your grace shall pardon me.
Oh, okay. I just found it.
Okay.
And he's talking to the cardinal.
I believe so. I don't know this one too well, honestly.
Okay, let's see what I can do. Your grace shall pardon me. I will not back. I am too high born to be property, to be a secondary at control or useful serving man and instrument to any serving state, sovereign state throughout the world. Your breath first kindled the dead coals of wars between this chastised kingdom and myself, and brought in matter that should feed this fire. And now 'tis far too huge to be blown out, with that same weak wind which enkindled it. You taught me how to know the face of right, appointed me with interest to this land. Yea, thrust this enterprise into my heart. And come ye now to tell me John hath made his peace with Rome? What is that peace to me? I, by the honor of my marriage bed after young Arthur, claim this land for mine, and now it is half conquered. Must I back because John hath made his peace with Rome? Am I Rome's slave? What penny hath Rome borne? What men provided? What munitions sent to underprop this action? Is not I that undergo this charge? Who else but I, and such as to my claim are liable, sweat in this business and maintain it this war? Have I not heard these islanders shout out, "Vive le Roi," as I had banked their towns? Have I not here the best cards for the game to win this easy match played for a crown? And shall I now give o'er the yielded set? No, no, on my soul, it never shall be said. Scene.
Okay, awesome. So it is now Maggie's turn. Hopefully she can, looks like she's fixed the issue. So hopefully she will for Maggie, then myself, and then John, and then we'll spin for scenes. So Maggie's monologue is going to. Canada, I do not wonder, is the start of Act 2, Scene 3.
Okay, hang on a second while I find that. So Much Ado, correct?
Much Ado, Act 2, Scene 3.
Okay.
It's very, except for that little part with the boy before he sends him off.
2, Scene 3. Leonardo's. Yeah, okay, I have it.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music with him but the drum and the fife. And now had he rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor. And now he will lie 10 nights awake carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. And now is he turned to orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. He have made me an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of color it please God. Ha! The prince and Monsieur Love. I will hide me in the arbor.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maggie. It is now my turn, and then John is on deck. We'll go after I do. Claudius, or Yet of Hamlet. Okay. Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it is befitted to bear our hearts in grief and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, imperial jointress to this warlike state, here we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth and funeral, and with dirge and marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, of thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourself, and for this time of meeting. Thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who impotent and bedrid scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein, in that the levies, the lists and full proportions are all made out of his subject. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltaman, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of those deleted articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty. Okay. So our last performance of a monologue before we do scenes will be John, and then he'll get the first choice amongst the scenes that we then spin. Okay, John is going to do the opening monologue. Henry.
Okay.
Henry IV, Part 1, the very opening of the play.
Okay.
Whenever you would.
Okay, here. So shaken as we are, hold on. So one with care, find a time for frighted peace to pant, and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hoofs of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes, which, like the meteors of a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet at the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as to the sepulchre of Christ, whose soldier now, under whose blessed cross we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith a power of English shall we levy, whose arms were molded in that mother's womb to chase these pagans in those holy fields, or whose acres walk those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this, now our purpose is 12-month old, and bootless is to tell you we will go. Therefore we meet not now. Then let me hear of you, my cousin gentle Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
Okay, great. So great job, everybody, today with the monologues. Now it's time to get some scenes. Let's get some scenes that will provide 6 roles for the 6 of us. So our first scene is going to be Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. That's Act 3, Scene 2. I think that's when he's announcing, he's just made the decision to kill Banquo. That one between the Macbeths, and next is Much Ado About Nothing. That's the first scene. It's from the point where Leonardo exits, and let's be Benedict, Claudio, and Don Pedro. So that's a 3-person scene. So that's 5. So the 6th role will be a second to doing a second monologue. So the 6 of us, the 6 choices of roles are Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Benedict, Claudio, Don Pedro, or doing a second monologue. And John went last, so he'll get the first choice amongst those roles. What would you like, John?
Let me take the monologue, please.
Okay, so John's going to do a second monologue. I will take, I got to take Macbeth. I'm going to take Macbeth. Maggie, what would you like?
I'll take Lady Macbeth.
Okay, so you and I will do that one. Bill, what would you like? Benedict, Claudio, or Don?
Benedict.
Okay, Bill is going to be Benedict. Brandon, Claudio or Don Pedro?
Claudio.
Okay, and there'll be Claudio, and that leaves Henry will be Don Pedro. Okay, so first, myself and Maggie are going to do the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth scene. Then Bill, Brandon, and Henry are going to do the Much Ado About Nothing scene, and then John's going to do a second monologue. So let's get.
So I'll start with the Lady Macbeth, knots had, all spent, and then you enter like 4 lines later.
I believe so. Give me a second.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Act 3. That sounds right. This being the play I'm familiar with, and So you're right. So you'd start with that. You're right. I should probably take myself out of it, and then I'll enter when at the end of your.
Okay, I'm looking at the text now, so I can't tell what you're doing. So you tell me when to start, please.
So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. Knots had, all spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Oh, how now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your company's making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
You've scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. Let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer, and we will eat our meal in fear and sleep, in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than in the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks, bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you, that your remembrance supply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. unsafe the while, that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces visage to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his fleance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund, ere that bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere the black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest child, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Now marvels at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee go with me. Okay. Thank you, Maggie. All right, so we now have Bill, Brandon, and Henry. Let me create the banner for that.
I didn't catch the act and scene number.
The first scene, Act 1, Scene 1. It's from the moment Leonato exits and it's just you on stage. Has everybody? You all see that?
I'm looking for Leonardo
Oh,
exits.
I believe toward the end of the scene. If you need some more time, maybe if you're looking for it, maybe I'll come back to you. I'll have John do his second monologue and then come back to the three of you. Would that be better?
It's fine by me.
Well, I can find it, but
Okay.
I'm looking for it. So.
just as exeunt all except Benedict and Claudio.
Yeah. I'll spin for John, and then we'll come back to this scene because I might be harder to find. So let me close that banner. John, let's get your. Okay, so John opted for a second monologue, and he's going to do. So that gives the three of them a little bit more time to find where to start there. Antigonus, I believe this is the one that ends with the most famous stage. I might be wrong. I believe this is the monologue that ends with the most famous stage direction in all of theater. Before you exit, pursued by bear. Antigonus, come poor babe.
Okay.
Winter's Tale, Act 3, Scene 3. I believe it's the start of the scene before. Yeah, I believe it starts with his monologue before the bear chases him. Come poor babe. Scene 3.
Is this this is
the Winter's Tale, Act 3, Scene 3.
Act 3, Scene 3?
Yes.
Okay. And that's a very short scene, is it?
I don't think so. You're on the wrong one, or I gave you the wrong one.
Oh, no, my bad. Hold on, please. Okay.
Actually, so it starts a little bit. I forgot. So it doesn't. I thought it started at first. It's Antigonus is with the mariner. Then the mariner, just a few lines between him and the mariner dropping off in the ship, and then the mariner
Okay.
exits, and he gives his monologue before he's chased off by the
Okay. I'll see if I can get through this. Come, poor babe. I have heard, but not believed, the spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother appeared to me last night, for ne'er was dream so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow, so filled and so becoming, in pure white robes like very sanctity. She did approach my cabin where I lay, thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech. Her eyes became two spouts. The fury spent, anon did this break from her. Good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oath, places remote enough are in Bohemia, there weep and leave it crying, and for the babe is counted lost forever. Perdita, I pray thee call it. For this ungentle business put on thee by my lord thou ne'er shalt see thy wife Paulina more. And so with shrieks she melted into air. Affrighted much, I did in time collect myself and thought this was no slumber. Dreams are toys, yet for this once, yea, superstitiously, I will be squared by this. I do believe Hermione had suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polixenes, it should here be laid, either for life or death, upon the earth or its right father. Blossom, speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character, there these, which may, if fortune please, doth breed thee pretty and still rest thine. The storm begins, poor wretch, for that thy mother faults shalt thus exposed to loss and what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I to be oath enjoined to this. Farewell. The day frowns more and more. Thou'rt like to have a lullaby too rough. I never saw the heavens so dim a day. A savage clamor. Well, may I get aboard? This is the chase. I am gone forever. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John. So hopefully now Bill, Brannon, and Henry are ready with the much ado scene. Okay, so you guys are ready now?
I'm not. I haven't figured out where it starts.
Yeah, just
Claudia, Benedict, didst thou
Yes.
note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
Let's see.
fine.
Exeunt all except Benedict and Claudia? About halfway down the scene. So it begins with just Claudio and Benedict, and then Don Pedro
Oh
comes
yeah, and then I think
Right,
I
yeah.
think Leonato exits with Don Pedro, and it's just
in. Don Pedro, yes, is not in the beginning, and
then Don Pedro comes back in. So I think you were looking at the
Ooh.
right place. Is it because Don Pedro comes back in?
Okay, I think I'm there.
Okay, so whenever you guys are ready, go ahead.
so you're going to take me out of the
So now
scene.
I'm lost. Okay, Don Pedro comes back. Okay, got it.
Maybe I'm in the wrong place. Who speaks first?
I think Don Pedro says, "Your hand, Leonato, we will go together." They exit, and so then it's Claudio's line. Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
Benedict, correct?
That's where you'll start.
No.
You still having trouble?
Well, who's who? I thought I was Benedict.
Brandon's Claudio, so she's going to start. Claudio is going to start with Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
All right. Claudio, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she a modest young lady?
Do you question me as an honest man should do for my simple, true judgment? Or would you have me speak after my custom as being a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee speak in sober judgment.
Why, in faith, methinks she's too low for a high praise, too brown for a fair praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation can I afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome. And being no other but as she is, I do not like her.
Thou knowest I am in sport. I pray thee tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after me, after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yeah, in a case to put it into. But speak you this with a sad brow, or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall a man take you to go in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that I ever looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I can see no such matter. There's her cousin, and were she not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary if Hera would be my wife.
Is't come to this? In faith, hath not the world one man who will wear his cap with suspicion? Shall I never see a bachelor of 80 again? Go to in faith, and thou wilt needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro is returned to seek you.
What secret hath held you here that you followed not to Leonato's?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell.
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You hear, Count Claudio. I can be secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so. But on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? Now, that is your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If this were so, sir, were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord, is it not so, nor 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid it, it should be so.
If my passions change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
He speaks this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my two faiths and thrusts, my lord, I spoke mine.
But I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
that I neither feel how she should be loved nor how she should be worthy is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I will have a recheat winded in my forehead or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me, because I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for the which I may go the finer. I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee, ere I die, look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I will get again with drinking. Pick out mine eyes with a ballad maker's pen, and hang me up at the door of a brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a noble, notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And he that hits me, let him be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Well, as time shall try. In time, the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
The savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them on in my forehead, and let me be vilely painted, and in such great letters as they write, here is good horse to hire. Let them signify under my sign, here you may see Benedict, the married man.
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid had not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for this shortly.
I look for an earthquake then.
Well, you temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Senior Benedict, repair to Leonato's, commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made a great preparation.
I have almost matter enough in me for such an embassage, and so I commit you.
To the tuition of God, from my house, if I had it.
The 6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock not, mock not. The body of your discourse is sometime guarded with fragments, and the guards are but slightly basted on neither. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience. And so, I leave you.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Is Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but Hero, she's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord, when you went onward on the ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye, that liked but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant. In their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young Hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to war.
Thou wilt be like her lover presently, and tire the hero with a book of words. If thou dost love fair Hero, cherish it, and I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. Was not to this end that thou beganst to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly you do minister to love. Thou know love's grief, his complexion, but lest my liking might too sudden seem, I would have salved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge much broader than the flood? The fairest grant is the necessity. Look, what will serve us fit? 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have Revelling tonight, I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair hero I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then, after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is, she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
Hey, great.
Can I,
Love
can I
that
just
one.
say something before we leave?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to mention the Bardathon that's happening. I don't know if you've got the information about that, but there's a Bardathon which is 7, 8, 9 days of Shakespeare, virtually full time.
Where is it now? Oh, it's
Where-
virtual.
So it happens in Fairbanks, Alaska, and
Oh.
you can it's an actual meeting, but you can call in on the phone, and you can get cast in that way. They cast every. You can phone in whenever you like, but there's a schedule. And also, I was there last night with Leah, and they've always done it just on phone call, which is a bit clunky. But they say they're hoping to set up a Zoom today. So the thing is to find the information online. Bardathon number
Do you have
25.
a share with us?
Bardathon.com.
I sounds interesting to me. I'm sure a lot the other people here and our viewers would be interested as well. If you could paste the link in the comments on YouTube, that'd be great.
Wow.
But the
They
bar,
had it. They had another one of them in January that I was able to go to, and it's if you can get yourself to stay up late or get up early in the morning, you have a really pretty good chance. Just depends on how many people show up, and they do tend to kind of know some of the people, so it's easier for them to give those parts. But it's 24 hours a day.
No,
Wow.
the Fairbanks one, they've changed it a bit this year. Over the weekend, it's 24 hours. There's a
Oh,
play every 4 hours. But then during the week, they start at 8 in the morning and go on till midnight. Their
I
time,
see.
which is
I've
their
never
time
heard of
is
this.
1
Yeah.
hour behind, 1 hour behind Pacific.
I see.
And then the next weekend they're doing it 24 hours again. But you'll see it
Yeah.
if you. I'll try and put the link in
Oh, please.
YouTube, or otherwise just look for it online. Bardathon number 25, and the information is all there. Fairbanks, Alaska.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting us know. That sounds very interesting. Does anybody else have any announcements before we sign off? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for your great performances. Thank you for the viewers. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you same time next week. Shakespeare Challenge. Bye now.
Thank you.